Yeah. Yeah, baby. Alright, seems like we are live. Alright, so, long time no see. It's been very difficult to film my gym sessions. Let's take the ring off so we don't destroy it, Isildur. And so I just haven't been streaming. Too much trouble moving the cameras back and forth, but I really gotta get back into this for multiple reasons. But so today gonna be a pulling day. I'm gonna focus on pull-ups and biceps, and that'll be it. It's really the plan. We'll probably try and wrap that up with some seal rows as well. First things first, gotta clear some of this stuff. Yeah, the messiness here, or the crowdedness, is undeniably not constructive, so I think what I have to do is I gotta move some of the stuff, I think, into the studio until we can clear the space here, which is not ideal, but I think it's still better than living like this. Nobody can live like this. Yeah, it makes my workouts slower and more tedious feeling for sure if I need to lug stuff around, he says as he clears his bench out of the way. There we go. Get this strap out of here. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of what we're going to move out of here, that's a different question. I think the reverse hyper is the easy answer, but I think that's too big to get through a door. So, there you go. I have a ton of micro plates now as well for my dumbbells, which is great, but also a bit of another logistics layer that is most what's the word? Inconvenient, or what's the word? I don't remember the word that I'm looking for. So just warming up for the pull-ups here. Cable. So I've had this nagging issue in my left side delt, and I really don't know what it is. It kind of feels like a nerve thing, but it could just be some other tweak in there. It feels pretty bad, but hoping to work around it. That's a part of the reason why we're doing pull-ups, because I'm hoping the hanging will help alleviate some shoulder issues. And if not, then I'll know more once I do hang. If it does hurt, I can pinpoint what's maybe causing it. I haven't tweaked it during a workout or anything like that, so I really don't know what's causing it. Yeah, it doesn't feel great there either. Yeah. I do feel quite beat up for whatever reason. I don't understand why, but it is what it is. So, just have a look at what we did last time. Okay, so we should aim for 10 reps. Which I have no idea what that is going to feel like, but there's really only one way to find out. Come on. Shit the bed. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Pretty tough. It's definitely a different ball game to do those in a very controlled fashion, slow, eccentric, just keeping roughly the same tempo or the same form. Definitely very challenging for sure. So this is probably going to be a bit of a grinder. I'm actually looking forward to the seal row, just purely out of the perspective that I feel like I need it. Like I need that upper back rowing strength and size back.
Segment 1, 6 minutes, 43 seconds, 28 kilocalories.
Okay. Ooh. Hey, what's up? Teeks on Twitch. How you doing? We're just having a bit of a breather here. Gathering our strength for the next set. Doing pull-ups here, and the 10 reps are a bit of a grind, the way we're doing them, at least. But how are you doing? How you been? What have you been up to, huh? Spill the beans, Teeks. Give me all the rich lore. I should really keep a track of my rest times. But I struggle to remember. Teek saying, gaming. What are you gaming? What are you playing? All right. Ready for this? Guess there's only one way to find out. I was considering using the bar straight up instead of the rings because it's pretty tough to get enough clearing here, but I'm actually gonna instead do this. So I'll just put around like a finger clearance there. Yep. And this way I can do a full hang without touching the ground. Because right now if I'm doing like a really complete hang, I am touching the ground, which is not ideal. So, and I do want to do a complete hang. The complete reset doesn't hurt, but I do want to maintain the stretch on the muscle. I don't want to pause away from that. So that's really the main reason here. So let's get strapped in and Woo. 117 BPM, okay. Yeah, that last set is going to be tough, for sure. 118 BPM, okay, good to know. I'm just tracking my BPMs after or during sets, or sort of peak after set, because I want to get an idea of how my body, the heartbeat, responds, and if I see improvements in that as I do more cardio, then I can keep track of if that's improving. Geek says Hunt Showdown. I think I've heard that name, but I think it was. Is it like an older game? Because that sounds. When was this? Launched on Steam in early access 2018. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen bits of this. Never played. Is it any good? Well, I presume it's good because you're playing it, but what do you like about Hunt Showdown? Alright, one more set of pull-ups to go, and then we'll do the seal row. Last time we also did the close grip row, which I'm a bit hesitant to do now, because of my lower back, which is pretty aggravated right now. Why on earth did I do 5 sets of seal rows last time? Oh, anyway, Post Malone's Murder Circus event is on. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know who Post Malone is, but is the event somehow related to the game, or? I'm confuzzled. Guess I'm showing my age. Yeah, so I think we're gonna up the weight on the seal row and just do 3 sets. Let's see how it goes. the seal row is a truly humbling exercise. It's not a whole lot you can do if you can't row the bar. But yeah, I love it. Truly underappreciated exercise. Is it time? I guess it is. Alright, so this is going to be tough. For sure. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Yes. We did it. Good. Progress. Alright. Let's get this bench. Back in its place. And then try and get this thing in there as well, which is easier said than done. Guess this is really the only option. Ugh. Fuck. Oh. All right. So we're just gonna go and jump straight into it. Like, no, not in terms of the set yet. I want to rest a bit, but in terms of weight. So we'll be just putting the 20s on immediately. Get it up to that 60 kg point. Perkele. Ei saatana. Tää ei nyt mennyt hyvin. There we go. The bar was a bit unbalanced. Too much on the right. So yeah, this is probably going to be heavy, but last time we did so many sets with 50 kg that it doesn't make any sense. So we'll just up the weight and see where we can take this. How many reps did we do? Yeah, 10 reps. So yeah, that's pretty that's a lot. So it says it takes place in 1896. Well, that's a long time ago. Long time ago. I have an absolutely absurdly high amount of microplates now. How many is this? Six. $30 kilos in microplates. Times 2, because I have the same at home, which is the reason I got them, partly. Extraction shooter, nice. Gotta make those extractions. Yeah, I forgot to load the weight here. Right. So 60. No idea how this is going to go. As usual, with the seal row, the quality of the reps are always going to go down. Well, I should say that the range of motion will always go down as you go closer to failure, because there's literally no way for you to get the bar up anymore. So that's just one of the things that I'm learning with the seal row, is that you have to embrace the fatigue and the failure, but still treat those reps as proper reps and do them. It's only if I absolutely fail to do any sort of a reasonable row, then I don't count it as a rep. But otherwise, it's gonna count. On YouTube, I'm sorry, I don't know how to. I don't read anything else than the Western alphabet, but saying keep on the good work, much love. How much all of these equipment cost in total? I don't know. I haven't calculated. This has been a very kind of slow process over the years, and virtually everything you see here has been bought at a discount. So that makes a big difference. I don't think I've bought anything full price here. I don't think so. But yeah, probably a few grand. I don't know. Haven't calculated, but yeah. All right, let's get into it. Gonna place the mic over here for the best possible grunt for your pleasure. It's probably gonna be very heavy. to say the least. But yeah. All right. Well, 10 reps it is. Apparently. Yeah, it's really. It's probably the only exercise that comes to mind where it has to be expected that the range of motion will take a hit. I mean, the only way you could not do that would be to do less reps and more sets, which is probably why I did what I did last time, to kind of keep the rep quality up, but I'm not sure that's the right way to go here. I think the key is for you to always row and squeeze as far and as much as you can, but naturally with a heavier set, it's just unlike with a bent over row, you can't use your body to get that weight up. So here I think the main thing is that you still try and do good clean reps even when the range of motion will be decreased. You just keep going, do a big squeeze, and as long as the bar is moving as much as you possibly can move it, then it's still a good rep. But I actually haven't heard anyone talk about this topic ever, which is makes it very niche for sure. But I think this is really the way to go, because otherwise it's really difficult to overload with this. You would just do endless amounts of sets just to get that absolute full clean range of motion, which is pretty difficult to do towards the end of a set. Teek's asking, what have you been doing? So right now, work-wise, I'm mainly doing content for the pro audio industry. So I'm mainly doing reviews, demos, written reviews, all kinds of material around mainly sample libraries and virtual instruments, and that's what I'm doing for the most part now. Then outside of that, I do the podcast to whatever extent I can, and then I'm with the family for the rest of the time. And also I try and do this as much as I can, but it's a pretty tough equation to sort out. Also, I was trying to think if I'm writing anything right now, music-wise. Some of the projects for the review stuff does involve writing. I mean, when I demo stuff, it's like that's like writing in real time, really. But in terms of actually like working on a music project, there's nothing going on right now, which sucks because I do have a lot of things that I want to do, but I really need to stabilize my, I should say, my workflow a lot more. I would like to make it a bit bigger and more stable at this stage, because I think it has a lot of proven potential, but there are a couple of things I want to do to grow that aspect of the business, and yeah, hopefully, I would hope that in the first quarter of the next year things are more stable, but there's still work to be done for that. What's up, Kyler on YouTube saying hi. How you doing, Kyler? And where are you from? I love learning where people are coming from. So tell me all about it, Kyler. Okay, next set. Let's okay. This is gonna take focus for sure. Such a unique exercise. I know I say this every single time, but geez, it's so tough because you don't really. Feels like almost purely neurological doing that movement. Hard to explain, but it's don't really feel your like it's after the set you feel your muscles really engaged in the upper back, but not before. Other says Singapore. Nice. Never been, but I would love to see it. A lot of stuff in that area. It's very interesting. What's the most important thing I need to know about Singapore? Assuming that I know nothing, which is pretty close to the truth. Right. I will say I felt like dog shit getting into this workout, but I'm feeling better now. So it's good. Also happy that we can increase all the numbers that we're working on right now. So despite being sick for almost 3 weeks, doing really well compared or taking that into consideration. Ooh. I'm thinking if I could somehow rearrange this area that it's actually doable. Have Actually, now that I think about it, a bit of a realization. It's gonna work. I was thinking whether I could lift the seal row up against the wall, which I can do for sure, but I'm not sure if I can get it close enough to the wall. But it could be worth trying. We'll do it after this last set, because it's still probably gonna take a lot out of me, so I want to conserve all the strength I have. The thing is, I really love having the dip stand here, but excuse me. Right. I think it's time. Yep. What a devilish exercise. Jeez. No, not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm wondering if I pronounce it, if it's something not appropriate. I'm gonna say it anyway because it's such a fun name. Cockleman. 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 Yeah, let's go with that. Cockleman says, "This looks like a perfect place to work out." Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. This is my small piece of heaven on earth. The only thing is we are a bit tight on space. It's fine depending on what we're doing, but especially for all kind of pushing movements, then the seal row bench is going to be in the way, and then I kind of have to move it about here. And also I would love to have the preacher curl, which is now over there somewhere here with like pre-made space. So but it would be okay if we got rid of some of the cabinets on the other side, because basically half of this entire room is just like there are storage cabinets over there. So I'm hoping I can get rid of those, and then this will be perfect. Then we'll have a dedicated space for everything. But For now, it's still a bit of a mess. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, beyond the crampedness issues, it's really nice. Our little own dungeon here. But yeah, it's but yeah, the crampiness, that's not a word, that's not what I'm trying to say. The space being cramped, there we go. That's my fault, because I found cheap things that you can't go buy, or no, you buy but you can't go buy them. This is very confusing. Why did I choose that word out of all the words? I found really, really cheap stuff that's hard to say no to. And it's stuff that I want to get, so it makes sense to get it super cheap instead of paying a lot for it later. But it has led to this space issue. But yeah, I mean, 4 cabinets, if we could get rid of those, everything could be in order. Then I could make maybe like a leg area over there. And then this would be the upper body / general area. Okay. So, what I think I want to do now is we're gonna call it there for the back, and we are gonna move on to the biceps. As we all know, the most important body part. But I don't want to overdo this. I got a lot of work to do, so I want to stay semi-fresh coming out of this workout and go do actual work. So we'll move on to biceps and side delts, of course. The little Saudi says on YouTube, "What's up?" We're doing good, thank you. How are you doing? Glad to see you back here. I remember you. We are just wrapping up the back portion of this. Oh shit, that's too much weight. Our dip stand is about to crash. Let's do that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, back. Done. And next up, we'll do some bicep stuff. But before that, I do wanna see whether I could get the seal row in here in some kind of a sensible way. This landmine, I'm so scared of this thing because it is built like a tank, and I've already broken one toe on this thing and probably destroyed my toe joint as well. I don't know. Nanners on YouTube asking, how long have you been working out? So, it's been a pretty long journey by now. When you answer that question, it's people often think it's just going to be a linear progression. But in my case, it's been very much like a up and down thing. The first thing to say, and I'm actually going to turn on the fan on the camera here because it might overheat. Yeah, so usually when people answer that question, they give you 2 dates. They give you the first time they started working out, and then they give you the date when they really start to work out. In my case, there's probably a 3rd date, but yeah, I joined a gym while I was at university. So I was probably, what age was I? Yeah, this system doesn't make any sense. So let's just get this back in here. So I was probably 23, thereabouts. Yeah, I think 23. And then I worked out for about, I'd say, maybe a couple of years in a sort of a active manner, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And yeah, I got some muscle, but I was still like super small. I didn't, you know, pack on muscle. I got some muscle definition, some strength, but because I wasn't really training really well, it didn't really go anywhere beyond that. And then this was back in London, and then when I moved back to Finland, and this was probably I was probably 20. Let me see, 21, 2, 3. 25, probably around then. Then I sort of told myself, like, this isn't going anywhere. Why am I not growing? And then I started eating properly and lifting heavier. And then things really changed. But yeah, I mean, that would probably, in total, I guess it's been 12 years now, which seems pretty crazy. But yeah, after that, I was probably at my peak around maybe, really hard to believe it's been that long. Well, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I guess 12 years, yeah. Yeah, but then I got sort of quite big and quite strong. And yeah, this was probably, probably around my sort of late 20s, early 30s, thereabouts. And then I started having so many health issues that it kind of stalled. And then a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I guess. Yeah, 3 years ago, I had a heart attack, and then things really changed. I lost a lot of muscle, a lot of weight, and now I'm just sort of rebuilding back up to that. So, but yeah, 12 years in total on this journey. I guess sort of 10 years seriously, but unfortunately I've had to be on and off on this journey as well due to health issues. So yeah, but I think that's still, like I said, a lot of people expect the journey just to be a linear process of getting bigger and stronger all the time. And certainly if you've managed to be growing for 12 years, you'd be quite a lot bigger and stronger than I am now. Shit, there goes my microphone. And of course it falls on the exact broken toe that I talked about earlier. The same fucking joint that has been the issue all this time. Who would have guessed? But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you have a good solid run for 12 years, you can be really big and strong. So, but that hasn't been my hand in this. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I can get to my peak size and strength. Hopefully this time I'll be a bit less fat than I was back then. I wouldn't say I was fat, but I definitely carried extra fat. So I probably want to do a bit leaner and cleaner this time. But yeah, just trying to build back up to that point. The little Saudi asking, what split do you think is the most optimal, and do you think it even matters? So I think it matters. There's probably multiple ways of answering this. The first way is, of course, doing a split that you'll actually do. Doing a split that you're actually committed to, and you're actually doing it. Because, again, it doesn't matter how optimal your split is if you're not doing it. So whatever it is that you can stick to and you love doing and you enjoy doing, do that. And also, it's very common for people to go through different sort of phases. So they do one split at one time and another split at another time. So once you sort of exhaust the gains from a certain approach, you can try something else, and that can, you know, spice up, juice up. I don't mean like steroids, but you just, you know, spice up your gains. So, but yeah, I mean, if people are just beginners, I'm a big fan of push-pull legs. I think that's a really good routine to get into. It's so dead simple. It gives you focus. You just go do one body part per session, and you can do it. So basically, go through one cycle in a week. So you do one pushing, one pulling, and one leg workout. Dead simple, very easy to follow. It doesn't demand a lot of you know, finesse and that kind of stuff from you. So big fan of that. And you can do a push-pull leg split very far, I'd say into the I would say the intermediate phase, which means that you're already pretty strong and pretty potentially big at that point as well. So big fan of that. Another one is also that I really like is doing basically movements within an axis of movement, which means if I'm doing pull-ups, then I'm also overhead pressing on the same day, and that can be your workout. You go, you know, back and forth between the two exercises. And if I'm doing something like a row, maybe like a seal row like we just did, or like a bent over row, then you could also do, well, I would probably with seal rows, that's a good pairing for bench press, because my bent over rows are still pretty upright. It's not, I can't get to a very horizontal position. So if I'm doing like an upright row, then I would actually do dips myself, because it's more of an upright, sorry, not an upright row, bent over row, but my bent over row position is pretty upright, so I would pair that with dips. So I do like that, and there's a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but some research around that as well as being a good thing. That's a good one. You could also do basically full body 3 times a week. I'm not a big fan of that for most people. I think it's more of an advanced type of a thing in most cases. But yeah, I would keep it as simple as you possibly can, because then you'll stick to it. And also remember to have fun. Like, this is supposed to be fun. So choose a split that is fun for you. Yeah, there's a lot of comments here for me. What's up, Spoony Guy? What's up, No Subs? What's up, Band Detergent? JD. Okay, that's a spam account. Never mind. What's up, Sushils? I'll go just answer in order here. So, Spoony Guy says, "Nice home gym." Thanks. Yeah, I really like it as well. very specialized set of equipment in here, I would say. No Sub says, love the vibe in it, man. Thank you. Yeah, I love the space as well. Little Saudi says, you think anyone can reach peak natural physique? Yeah, I mean, by definition, it's possible. Everyone has their theoretical peak natural physique. I mean, this is kind of like, from one perspective, you're always gonna, well, let me think how to actually say this. Reaching your theoretical peak physique is that's a goal that is always going to stay abstract, and all we can do is chase that goal and try and get as close to it as possible. And a part of the whole point of it and the appeal of it is that it's fundamentally unattainable or very close. And even the people who get very close, they're still like asking, like, is there a next layer or the next level? Because ultimately we don't really know. We know probably that you can get sort of 80% of it with a certain amount of input. But it wouldn't be a thing that I would obsess about. It's a thing you should chase and be inspired by, but don't obsess about it. And you know, enjoy the gains you make, and be proud of those, and keep growing. This is more about find a way to enjoy the process of the pursuit rather than the results. And that's really the only way to make the gym like a consistent, constructive part of your life. It's not gonna be this. We're not here to attain that peak physique and then we're gonna like relax and lay on the couch, because as we know, once you stop doing things, the physique is gonna fade. So this should be about a lifestyle. It's like, how do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? And just stay in that process. And a byproduct of that process is the gains in the muscle, in how you look, and in strength. So I think that's really the best way of looking at it. But yeah, I mean, everybody can reach their natural peak physique, of course, in this sort of a relative sense. Like, you can be at your peak in terms of how much time and effort you can put into it, how much nutritional and sleep effort you put into it. We can always be, you know, pursuing that peak at our best, if that makes any sense. Sushil's asking, in which country are you? I am in Finland. Behind this window here is the beautiful country of Finland. Very white outside, apparently. Jack Verhoef. Am I saying? I'm probably not saying that right. Verhoef. Let's go with that. Saying, what's up, brother? What's up, Jack? We're just about to do some biceps here. How are you doing? Spoony Guy saying, you high-key look like a wise wizard in a video game or a movie that just knows everything. Well, I'm happy I look that way, because that's one box ticked, but the truth is very different. All we can do is try and be as wise as we can. Little Saudi asking, have you ever considered taking steroids, and what's your thoughts about them? No, I have not considered it. My health is always the most important thing to me, because lifting is as much as I love it, it's not that important for me that I would sacrifice any aspect of my health for it. Like, my lifting is supposed to be health supporting and not deduct from it, because my number one thing in life is well, my family now, but also music. And I would love to write music until I'm 150 years old. So because of that, no. However, my testosterone has been dog shit for I don't know for how long, but it was pretty bad a few months ago. So I am monitoring that now, and the doctors are monitoring that now. And if it doesn't get fixed with my sleep, then I'll probably have to look at TRT. But that would only be, of course, to the replacement level, so to a natural level. So yeah, if things don't get better, then it's definitely something I'm interested in, because I feel like crap in many ways, and my life is unsustainable if I feel this crap most of the time. So that's something I might be looking at in the future, but purely from a health and I guess health span point of view, because if I'm just exhausted and tired, even if I'm sleeping and eating as well as I possibly can, then it's something needs to be done about that, because I have felt exceptionally driveless and tired for quite a while. So that is something I would 100% do, because it's not healthy to have low testosterone either, like low in terms of being not in the normal range. So in that sense, I have considered it, but it still needs to be. We'll see if I can fix my sleep and see if it gets better. But yeah, but I would really. The thing about steroids is, again, a lot of people, if they're young and they want to get a lot of muscle, they're tempted by it. But I would really advise against that. and you should definitely always, even if you want to be a professional bodybuilder or professional whatever else, still build yourself to that natural peak that you can, and then if you want to take it to the next level as a professional, then you can reconsider the whole thing. And of course, that's your own choice, and I don't recommend anything. But yeah, it's very sad to see young men take stuff when they haven't even built themselves to that. Even close to their own natural potential. And certainly it's even sadder if they take them too soon before they even have grown up properly. So yeah. What's up, Nepe on YouTube? Spoony guy asking, what's your diet like? So I'm very much an omnivore. I eat quite high protein. Right now, probably just around 200 grams of protein a day, and sometimes a bit more. I'm relatively also high in fat that I eat, and then I basically eat carbs pretty much based on consumption. So if I'm exercising a lot, then I go harder on the carbs, but if I'm not, then I just kind of stay away from them, because they make me feel like crap if I'm not exercising or moving. So that's it. Yeah, I eat beef, chicken, dairy, eggs, rice, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, kale, sauerkraut, avocados. I eat some nuts as well. What else? Cottage cheese, this kind of stuff. It's some oats, pretty basic stuff. And I like to get as much as I can out of my nutrition. I do supplement, but okay, this feels super heavy. I gotta start out a bit easier here. Yeah, supplementation, I would actually supplement a lot wider than or sort of more comprehensively than I do now, but it's just because it's expensive business. So maybe once my finances look a bit better, I can get back on the schedule, but yeah, supplements I do like a lot because they do make me feel clearly a lot better. So, and also the thing is, even if your diet is really good, even if it's really good, we all have differences in how we absorb things. So even if you're on paper getting enough of a vitamin from food, it might be a different story as to how your body absorbs it. So it's very likely that almost everybody needs to supplement in some fashion. In terms of what it is, that should be based on ideally lab tests and stuff like that, but yeah, only one way to find out. The Little Sally says social media has a lot of influencers advertising steroids, and that kind of making me consider them, and I really need someone to tell me not to, because I know they are bad for long-term health. But having a crazy good physique is really tempting. Yeah, I would definitely advise against it. I don't know how. Maybe you told me earlier your age, but maybe you could let me know so I can sort of comment from that perspective as well. The thing to understand is that no drug is gonna magically just give you a ton of muscle. Maybe like once myostatin inhibitors become a thing, then that's gonna happen. But steroids really, they increase the ceiling of potential for you, and they also make the process of progression, also they do make it faster and easier, no doubt. But it's, again, if you're only doing this for the physique, I think you're missing out on a lot of other lessons, because one of the main things about the gym, like, most of us get in the gym because of the superficial stuff. We want to be bigger, we want to be stronger, and that's fine. Those are actually completely fine reasons to get into the gym. But as you get in there due to vanity, you are going to find on the long term that you're going to stay there for therapy. The gym taught me it taught me the value of hard work. I genuinely hadn't learned that before, because I went through school with minimal effort and just, like, you know, the night before reading something or writing something, and that's how I got through school, and frankly university as well. So I never learned hard work through that. Also music, I never learned hard work through that either, because I enjoyed music always. So I could do music, you know, if we were recording with our friends, you know, we could stay in the studio or wherever we were recording for days on end, and it never felt like work. Yes, there are like tedious bits about it, but it's so interesting that you do it for the love of it and for the passion of it. But the gym isn't like that. When I got into it, it wasn't easy. Of course, I wanted to get bigger and stronger, but it was difficult, and it taught me the concept of hard work, and not just the concept, but actually ingrained in me what it's like to put yourself into
the process of work fully and grind through something, and do genuinely hard work. And also, somewhere in there, it also became therapy. So it's like it's a form of meditation for me, honestly. It's like I can lose myself. You're going to be 27 and you're going to be jacked and strong and look great. But if you didn't learn all the other things about how the gym can be, you know, meditational, or how it can be a therapy, or how it taught you a lot of things about the mind and how you can control the mind to make the body do things that it doesn't want to do. If you don't learn those things, then you don't take those lessons, because those lessons are going to be in there, whether you like it or not. If you refuse to learn those lessons, you're going to be 27 and you're going to look great, you're going to have big muscles, and you're going to be strong. But you're still in there for the superficial reasons. And you always just want to look bigger and better. And you're going to be inside, you're still going to be insecure because you're doing it for the looks. So you want to learn other lessons at the gym and realize that, you know, maybe the looks don't matter that much to you. Maybe it matters more how the gym makes you feel as a whole. And maybe it matters more to you that you realize you are healthier and more, you know, you look on the outside the way you feel on the inside. And yeah, so there are a lot of lessons that the gym is going to force you to learn. Far beyond the superficial stuff. But at 17, 100% don't take steroids. You have to look further out into the world. Like, first things first, you're not going to get a great physique with just drugs. That's not going to happen. Barring the myostatin inhibitors that are probably going to come in the future. That's a different conversation for a different time. But you still got to go to the gym and you got to lift. And you got to be smart about it. You got to put hard work into it. You got to do hard sets. You got to push yourself. So no drugs are going to do that for you. And if you're just starting out, what's up, Kerem Bona, by the way, on YouTube? If you're just starting out, do not touch drugs. Don't even think about them. You want to develop yourself far into your natural ability before you start even considering those kind of things. And this is something almost all professional people in the fitness industry say. So you can look at that thing, revisit the topic down the road, but you should definitely grow and develop yourself far into it before you even start thinking about this. And also because I'd say if you are gonna take stuff, then you should do it for some kind of a professional reason, if I'm honest, because otherwise the price is too big to pay. Anybody can have a great physique naturally, like a physique where people look at you and they appreciate you, not appreciate, but respect your physique. Everybody can get there naturally. There's no reason, like if you want to just look great to other people, there's no reason to take drugs. If that's your ambition. If you want to be the strongest man on earth, then drugs are in the conversation. If you want to be a pro bodybuilder, like, and I mean like Olympia level bodybuilder, then it's a conversation to be had, but not before. So, because there is a price to be paid, and I don't think anyone can justify the price to be okay if we're just talking about minimal improvements in your physique for no other reason, no other gain. I can see how the exchange can make sense if you want to be the strongest man on earth, or you want to be a pro bodybuilder, like the best in the world. Then I can see how that makes sense. But pretty much outside of that, I don't see how it makes any sense. For marginal, well, not marginal, I shouldn't say that, but hopefully you see what I'm going after here, because you're going to pay a big price for that. And maybe, and here's the important thing, once you've been working out for 10 years at the gym, you understand how important this whole thing is for you. If it is your passion and you want to be the best bodybuilder in the world, or you want to be the strongest man in the world, then you'll know, and then you can start considering these alternative additional things. But it makes no sense to take that kind of a risk at the very beginning when you don't even know how much you love this. Like, how strong do you want to be? What do you want to look like? Because you might find in 5 years that, yeah, I like being in shape, but beyond that, I don't really care that much. Which is what happened to me. I genuinely got to the point, I'm not there now, but at my peak, before my health issues, I was pretty much, I was completely content with the way I looked. Yeah, I probably wanted to lose a bit of fat, because I didn't like to carry extra fluff. But I was like, I'm plenty big now. Like, if I bumped into someone who was bigger than me, I was perfectly fine with that. Because I was bigger than 90-something% of, like 95 beyond percent of people. So I was like, there's nothing here that I would further want to explore. And that's important to understand. You have to go there to see what it's worth for you. What's up, Pulse Lock, saying, hi man, how much would you say lifting affected your mental health? A lot. I genuinely think lifting saved my mental health. Genuinely. Yeah, this is something I haven't talked about or even thought about in a long time. I'm just going to say hi to everybody else before that. Ninfin Play, what's up? Giffer on YouTube. And Domisek, let's go with that, on YouTube as well. But yeah, answering Pulse Lock question. Yeah, I was I would say very anxious and also depressed before I started lifting. I think one important thing about lifting is that it allows you to look the way on the outside that you feel on the inside. And I was a very skinny young man, and I didn't like that. I didn't feel like I was comfortable in that. Thanks for the follow, Dom the 5th on Twitch. So it's really important for people to look the way that they feel on the inside. I think that's a huge mental health factor. And once that is the case, it takes care of a lot of these anxieties and issues that we have in relation to other people. Because a lot of people walk into a room and they're worried about what people think about them and what they say. But if you look the way you want to look and you're comfortable in your own skin, all of that goes away. Now, not everybody's going to like the way you look. Some people think you look stupid or ridiculous or whatever else. But as long as you're fine with yourself, then you're good to go. So that was a big thing. Also, just having a way to output pent up physical energy is really important. It's not good for people to stay sedentary all the time. It's really, really bad for you. So yeah, you got to move, and I think everybody should do some level of resistance training, moving, weight around. That is challenging for you. Super, super important for your nervous system. So yeah, I mean, lifting absolutely saved me from a a lot of my mental health issues. Not all of them, but it gave me a big buffer to work with. So if you think about like a cake, and this entire cake is your mental health issues, it gave me like maybe 60% more space to work with. And when you have all that space freed up, suddenly all the cognitive stuff also becomes easier, because now you have energy to put into behavioral therapy type of stuff, or thinking through things, or talking through things. So it's massive, yeah. And especially anybody who has anxiety, should definitely go and lift for sure. Ninfin Plays Gaming asking, are you a weightlifting calisthenics hybrid? No. So I haven't done any calisthenics beyond, well, obviously you see the dip stand here, which might be why you're asking. I do dips because just a great exercise. I do pull-ups, which I believe is sort of a part of what calisthenics also do. So yeah, no, I haven't done like purely calisthenics ever. But yeah, dips, pull-ups, I think are absolutely essential, fantastic exercises. So definitely worth doing. Giffer says, hey, I started bulking and I'm noticing that I'm being a bit fat. Okay, yeah, that can happen. So no issue. You can cut that fat away. Not actually cutting, but going in a calorie deficit. So I don't know in what bulking phase. What's up, Omar King on Twitch? I don't know what bulking phase you're in, but assuming you have a bit of that bulking phase to go, if you feel like you're getting too fat too quickly, you can lower the calories that you're taking in, and then you'll gain less fat. But find that optimal place where you're in a calorie surplus, but no more than you have to. And I would say probably the closer to that you can get, the better. You don't need that those extra calories if you find that you're just putting on fat. So try and lower the calories and see where's the threshold of what you actually need, and then get ideally maybe to like 100 calorie range in terms of what you need. And yeah, if you feel like you're just getting too fat and things are not going to in a good direction, then you can just go into your cutting phase for sure. Thanks for the follow, Omar King on Twitch. Dom the Fifth asking, at what age should I start taking creatine? That's actually a really good question, and I don't know what the answer is. I'm only familiar with the research when it comes to adults, so I'm not sure what the recommendations would be for like teenagers or whatever. I don't know your age, but it's a good question. I would honestly start with asking ChatGPT for sure. I'd probably give you a far better answer than I can. I would probably this is not a recommendation. I'm not a physician, not a doctor, so this is just for informational, educational purposes only. But I would speculate that once you get to what do you call it, like 18, once you're actually at an adult age, it probably becomes pretty safe. But that's a great question, and that's relevant if you are like getting into lifting and you're maybe a teenager or something then. But yeah, and also of course ask your doctor as well, and check your blood work. Spoony Guy asking, what kind of music do you make? So I make, for the most part, cinematic music. Most of it is orchestral, cinematic orchestral music. And my latest thing was for a video game, and that was more like yeah, synth based mixed with orchestral percussion and some strings. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Omar King. Oh yeah, you're okay. Omar King says I'm the little Saudi on YouTube, just to let you know. Okay, yeah. I think I remember both both of your usernames. Paul Slock asking if I can't do a pull up just yet, how do I get there? So, number of ways to do this. The best way is to go to a gym that has a pull-up assisted pull-up bar. So it's basically like a platform under a pull-up bar section where you can adjust the counterweight. So it's basically there's a counterweight that's essentially, you know, pulling you up. That's absolutely the best way to get into pull-ups. You just find the counterweight that allows you to do them, and you do them, and each time use less counterweight. And then after some time, you're going to find that you can actually do unassisted pull-ups. The other thing is to use something, if you don't have an assisted pull-up machine, is to use like a cable from top, like we have here. This is what I use to warm up. So basically, my handle is down there. I'm not going to switch it, but basically you want to have a handle here, like a normal handle, and you can go on the floor like this, and you can do essentially the same movement, pulling the cable down one side by one, and you can just develop strength that way. That's probably one of the more accessible ways of doing it. So that's it. I don't really, especially for beginners, I don't recommend playing with resistance bands, because they are just not a good piece of equipment in my estimation. It's too much of a hassle. It takes too much setting up. There's some risk involved. If you slip, it's gonna smack into your balls or into your face. Doesn't sound like a good time, so I don't recommend those. So yeah, those two would be my recommendations. And also doing other back exercises. You know, you can do bent over rows. I would argue even, you know, deadlifts to a degree would help. But yeah, definitely rows of different sorts are gonna increase your back strength and give you also, it's gonna help you do pull-ups as well. Omar King saying, I'm 17 and I do take 3 grams of creatine a day. I'm not having any bad effects. Helped me put on a lot of muscle. Yeah, I don't know. It's like definitely when your body's still developing, I wouldn't probably throw in creatine if you're still, obviously you're 17, so you're getting into that adult age, so it's kind of a different thing. But yeah, the main thing is that you check your blood work and make sure that it makes sense from that perspective. Check with your doctor as well. But yeah, I would definitely not take it until you're getting into that mature age. Spoony Guy asking, do you have any experience with rap music? No, very, very little. I mean, I have experience in the instrumental side of how that stuff is done, but I haven't actually created or worked with any, I haven't created any rap music per se, or worked with any rappers. It's just not my cup of tea. There could be a rapper that I like, but not a format that I terribly enjoy. But the beats themselves, absolutely, I've made a fair bit in that category. The little Saudi saying, or a resistance band. I think the lat pull down is the best to help with pull-ups. Yeah, that's a really good point. Lat pull down is obviously the one that sort of most directly translates. I will say I've never been a big lat pull down fan because it's how should I explain this?
you can build some of that. There's definitely like a crossover effect for sure. I don't like lat pull downs for the reason that while my hands stay at the same width from one another, the lat pull down can move this way and it can also move this way. And that's a very different sensation from a bar that doesn't move. And I think the most important thing about a pull-up is that there's a fixed point into which all of this energy can be transferred. And with the lat pull down, it's the whole thing. I mean, not to say that it's shaking and moving all around, because then your technique is probably off, or you're not using a good weight. It's probably too little or too much. But it's it doesn't really follow the same mechanics a lot, and I've personally not enjoyed it for that reason. But that's not to say it isn't a great way to build lat strength and size, because it can be. I've just never liked it very much. And also I like that you, with a pull-up bar, you get the added benefits of a hang, and also because the lat pull down machine is or the bar can swing this way and also this way, you're not kind of developing the internal understanding of your body mechanics, because the bar stays where it is, and as you do pull-ups with that bar, you start to understand how your body in particular works in relation to the pull-up motion. Whereas with the lat pull down, that doesn't really happen, because the point from which you're pulling can move around so much. Or even not so much, but even just a tad bit. It just makes the movement very, very different and kind of unstable in that way. But this is just, I'm like exceptionally not a big fan of the lat pull down. I know a lot of people are and love it, and that's fine. I don't have anything against it per se. I just think there are better ways. Better ways to do it. Okay, let's actually get on with this workout here. Pulse Lock asking, is the saying you can't out-train a bad diet as true as they say it is? So it depends on how you splice it up. Usually when people say that, they're talking about it from the perspective of getting fat, gaining too much fat. So it's true, if you're in a calorie surplus, you're going to gain fat. There's no way around that. So that's going to happen. The only way to train out of that diet is to actually make it so that your consumption is greater than the calorie input that you're eating. But even then, how much you eat is a factor of how much you can, how much you would need to train to go into a deficit. But that's not a good thing to do either. If you're just exercising to burn calories, not the best way to do it. The best way is to adjust actually the input of the food that's going in. Also, I think the most important way in which that is true is that I'm more concerned about the quality of the nutrients. So if your diet is bad and you're not getting enough nutrients, then yeah, you're obviously you're not going to get those in your body unless you supplement or actually start eating the right things. But yeah, I mean, that question is like, it needs to be further defined in terms of what we're talking about. But yeah, it's a bad idea to try and work out so much that your calorie that you go into a calorie deficit. Not a good idea, because that's very unsustainable and super tough also, because the fatigue will be so high that you'll struggle to recover and keep up with your workouts overall. Yeah, I think the fatigue is actually setting in for me, so I'll just do this one set. Then we'll do my favorite, my new favorite, the preacher curl, to wrap this stuff up. Paulslook asking another kind of related question. Are abs really made in the kitchen? So, yes, again, in the sense that you're not going to have abs if you have fat covering those abs. You can have very strong, very defined abs underneath, but if you have body fat on top of there, they're not going to show. So you have to get your body fat low enough so that your ab muscles actually begin to show. That's really the thing. Now, to an extent, of course, it's useful to have bigger, stronger, more defined abs because they will push out a bit. But ultimately, whether you have that ab look or not, it comes down to body fat. So you're gonna have to lose that to see them. And also the thing is, like, especially for men, usually like belly fat is the one of the last things to go. So yeah, it's gonna can be a pretty stubborn process, but it will go eventually from there. You'll see it go from other places first, but it will go. So yeah, in that sense, it's true. I guess a more true way of saying it would be that abs are made by what goes in your mouth, but probably doesn't sound as sexy as the kitchen thing. Not as good in terms of branding. Okay, so I don't really know what the weight is going to be here, but we'll put that on and we'll see where we land. Spoony Guy says, please bro, my girl is on this app. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Maybe you can explain what you mean. All right, let's see how this feels. Okay, interesting. Alright, so I do feel slight fatigue in my right bicep. That's probably from my previous bicep workout, so gotta keep an eye on that. But should be okay. I do want to throw on a tad bit of weight here. I absolutely love these micro plates because these are so anti-ego. There's nothing fancy, nothing sexy about these plates. They're just tiny. Because equally so, we could throw on the fivers here and they would look a lot bigger and fancier, but it's, your mind can get caught up in that stuff, and I love that these ones are so unimpressive looking that you're not really thinking about the weight in a negative fashion at all. You're just focusing on moving the weight. Spoony Guy says, my problem with music is that I can write lyrics, but I have no idea how to sync them on beats. Do you have any suggestions? That's a tough question, because I think a lot of that would come down to, because I think that's partly in the realm of something that maybe I'm trying to think how to answer this. So I think one thing is to listen to a lot of other music and what they do and how they do it, and try and emulate that. And then when it comes to your stuff, throw shit at the wall. I mean, there are a lot of free beats out in the world, and you could start to split your lyrics into different sections, which I'm maybe presuming you're doing, like verses, choruses, bridges, etc. But yeah, I would just say listen to good music that you like, try and emulate that, and then you just have to start doing it at some point. You just have to start working on, you know, how can I combine these lyrics with the instrumentation. Ultimately, it's a lot of it comes down to rhythm. So I would study music theory, of course, but especially rhythm, because the rhythm is how you basically place those lyrics into that music in rap. So that's a big thing. I don't specifically know what you struggle with, like what is the nature of the issue specifically, but those kind of things come to mind. If you've never done music, you just kind of have to get going. If you can, studying music theory never hurts, so I would recommend doing that always. Also, picking up instruments helps. Yeah, this is one of those things, like the preacher curl felt very very alien to me when I started it, but it's starting to be one of my favorite things. All right. I'm actually gonna try and be smarter about this, and we're gonna superset. Well, not superset, but we're gonna go back and forth between the preacher curl and the lateral raise. So let's throw some weight onto this dumbbell. Now this is heavy as fuck. Come on. God damn. Oh. Spoony guy, where do I find a good place to study music theory online? Another great question. Not super familiar with the space. I would imagine that on YouTube these days, there's a lot of good channels if you search on YouTube. I would also, of course, ask ChatGPT or an AI of what the top ones are. Then you can go check their channels and pick the one that speaks to you the most or resonates with you and your style. And I'm also sure that many of them teach music theory in a not completely dull way. Because when I went to study music theory, it was real freaking dull. So I'm sure there are better methods available these days. But honestly, I would just look on YouTube. I'm sure there's plenty of content to get you going, probably to like a basic level, and by then you'll know if it's your thing at all or not. But yeah, that's what I would probably do. It's really strange that my nerves, I should probably say, just kind of stopped working on my left side after a while, which is not great. Yeah, that left side just, it stops firing. It's just a point where it's like, yep, nothing's happening anymore. That's how you know it's a nerve thing. Well, I mean, this side is pretty messed up for me anyway, so it's no wonder. Cool. All right, that's it for this session. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for following. It's much appreciated. Spoony Guy says, bro, high-key looks like a Greek god you'd read about in books, and saying he's not in his prime. Nah, bro. Bro, you look jacked as fuck, not gonna lie. Hey, a lot of this comes down to the lighting. Really, seriously. I mean, I'm not, I mean, I have the muscle on me that I do, but a lot of this is accentuated by the top light coming down, and also having a bit of a pump, and also having like a dark contrasted camera here. So I certainly in normal lighting wouldn't even look like this, but I appreciate the kind words. It's really encouraging to me, and it helps me push myself more. I would be more easy to, or eager to agree with you if I was at my peak. But yeah, but seriously, I appreciate the kind words, and but it's important to also emphasize that a lot of this accentuates the way anybody would look. So, but thank you. I will be fueled by your kind words, Spoony Guy. What's up, Ham X on YouTube? Hope you're doing fine. Yeah, we're gonna call it here. I'm gonna have to go and work on work stuff. So, but yeah, I appreciate everyone hopping on and chatting. We had an exceptional amount of comments today for this small, humble channel here. So that's really nice. So yeah, if anybody is watching, consider following. If you want to see more of a strange man lifting in a basement. Cool. But as always, take care of yourself, stay safe, and I will see you next time. Finished.